Smells like a new day, everybody. I am excited today because I got a topic I'm really excited to talk about. We are outside today. There's going to be a lot of construction and city noises that keep interrupting my filming day. Yeah. Okay, so I've been kind of reconsidering, Jesus, should we just wait a second? So one of the things that, like I've been watching videos about and like I've been thinking about is basically running a sleek plate carrier. The reason for that is like, complete societal collapse, God forbid, is very unlikely, to be honest. What would most likely happen are like things like the 2020 Summer of Love riots. It's like just chaos in the streets, and like obviously you can't just like ruck out there with like fully kitted out and like a rifle. So maybe something like more low key, more gray man, if you will. What's great about a low vis plate carrier is that it's very modular in a sense for like any variety of different situations. It's not just like a placard that you can change out for like a different weapon system. Like a completely sleek plate carrier, ideally, depending on the type of plates that you have, will be very low visibility, very low key. Oh my gosh, I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to hear me or hear all those sounds, but it literally sounds like an entire forest is getting like genocided. Low vis plate carrier, you can put on a jacket, no one's going to know you're armored up. You can also pair it with things like load bearing equipment, like kind of SMERSH gear, or like British DPM load bearing equipment, LBE, or you can run like a chest rig. And there's advantages to both, and we're gonna go ahead and get into them. Hello, my name's The Continental. For my project today, I'm gonna be talking about chest rigs and LBE SMERSH equipment and their pros and cons. I was just kidding. We're not going to do the video like that. I'm just kidding. All right, but there are pros and cons to both of them. Like I said, one of the advantages of the sleek plate carrier with like an additional like chest rig or LBE is just how modular it is. As you can see, I'm pretty much fully kitted out as if it was a standard chest rig, except I can take this on and off wherever I want. Also, kind of depends how you set up your system, but typically chest rigs can hold more equipment or more gear than like a standard plate carrier. What this allows me to do is, in a situation where I only want to run the chest rig, I can do that. Or if I want to drop the chest rig, depending on the situation I'm going into, I can just run like a sleek plate carrier. I can pretty much up armor myself, if you will, with gear. So I can hold this particular setup I got 4 mags, an extra 2 right here, another magazine right here, and 1 in the rifle. I think that makes 8. I'm able to hold comms. I'm able to hold my IFAK right here. That's what this little dangler is. I got my multi-tool and like a what is it, space blanket, compass, fire starter, whistle, extra batteries, just random things like that. Not everything is a gunfight. You do need some sustainment. So that's pretty much the setup of the chest rig. Advantages of the chest rig: it's easier to pair with comms. I feel like it's also better for like long-term like car rides. Like if you're going to be geared up in a vehicle moving for a long period of time, chest rig is going to be a lot more comfortable than like a load bearing equipment, LBE, just by the simple nature that you have like your hips exposed. Another advantage of the chest rig, unlike the LBE, is you could actually pair it with like a heavy backpack or like a backpacking backpack. As you can see, my hips are open. I don't know if you can see it in there. They're open, so if you guys like ever been like backpacking or camping, you know what I'm talking about, where like the hip strap comes around. So my hips are open, they're exposed. So like, even though the chest rig cannot initially hold as much as like a Smersh gear. We'll go ahead and get into that later. I can pair it with like a larger backpack. Another advantage, if this is what you guys are into, you can pair it with a gun belt. So the LBE occupies the same space as like a gun belt or like a heavy backpack would occupy. If you're trying to run like a gun belt, you can do that easily with a chest rig, as opposed to like, honestly, you couldn't really do that with LBE, depending on like which one you guys are getting, but generally speaking, it'll be pretty difficult. At least for me, one of the advantages of my specific options is it's easier for me to run like an IFAK. I'll go ahead and like show you guys when we get there, but with the LBE, I kind of had difficulty figuring out where I should put my IFAK. Of course, you always need an IFAK on yourself. Now there are quite a few cons to the chest rig. So one of the first initial ones, the obvious ones, is that most of the weight is going to be placed upon your shoulders. So unlike an LBE, a lot of the weight is kind of distributed. It's very comfortable to wear an LBE because a lot of the weight is placed upon your hips for the most part. If you guys have been backpacking for any extended period of time, you know that putting the weight on your hips is better for like long-term movement. Another kind of disadvantage or something for you guys to consider is, typically speaking, you're gonna be able to carry less mags on your kit. You also will be able to carry less sustainment gear. Like I said, not everything's a gunfight. So like it's gonna be more difficult to be able to hold food or water in this setup in isolation, at least without a backpack. The LBE can do that without a backpack. So that's kind of like one of the disadvantages, is that you do, outside of, you know, your fighting kit, you are gonna need some sort of like backpack or additional kit to be able to carry your additional essentials like food, water, extra clothing, things like that. Another thing to consider with the chest rig is that because I have my plate carrier and I have my chest rig, that does make me very wide in the front. So if you're going prone or if you're trying to get low to the ground, that's going to be difficult because of course I just got like an additional like 4 inches of thickness up in the front. Of course you don't want that. But you know, that's just one of those things with the chest rig, you know, so that is one of the disadvantages. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put on my other uniform. All right, so for our next contender, we're gonna be talking about the LBE. This is basically a knockoff Smersh. You guys already know me by now. It's broke boy hours over here. If it can hold the weight and if it holds up in, like, you know, my drills and my training, you know, who really cares? But let me go ahead and show this off to you guys. I don't know if you can see it that well. Pretty sure you can. But this is like basically a knockoff Smersh. It can hold a lot of mags, a lot of kit, and a lot of the weight is distributed onto your hips. So it's very comfortable. I would say it's a lot more comfortable than the chest rig. The chest rig has a tendency to kind of make you top heavy. If you guys like actually run your kit, you'll know that like when you're running with full kit, from sprinting to like immediate stop on a barrier and you're top heavy, you know it's pretty hard to stop that much ass moving at that speed. So the LBE kind of puts a lot of the weight on your hips. So I don't know, a few more mobile, dude. I really feel it. The chest rig just makes me feel like, oh, like I'm just pouring out of my shirt. You can hold a lot more magazines. I have 4 of these pouches, and even though they're not loaded up, because a lot of my kit is on my chest rig, each one of these can hold 3 magazines. So if you do the math, that's 12 mags. Additional, you have like these small little pouches on the side of the magazine pouches. I like to just fill it with like a compass or like a multi-tool, or like, you know, just like I said, not everything is a gunfight. You do need to have some sustainment. Of the 4 like magazine pouches that each hold 3, the one that's most awkward for me to get, typically I would put like a water bottle in here, like a Nalgene or something like that, something to hold my water. This butt pouch right here, as they call it, it's pretty big. It's not really compartmentalized, but essentially what I would use this for is my sustainment kit. So like I would put like food for like 2 to 3 days. I'd put extra clothing, pretty much like things that I can support myself with. I mean, hell, maybe you can even put like a compact like sleeping bag or like sleep net or something like that. One of the cons for the chest rig that's actually an advantage for the LBE is that look how just flat and in figure I am. I can lay down completely flat if I needed to. And the thing is, like, when I'm laying down and if I need to reach a mag, like let's imagine this is the floor. I can just reach over, grab a magazine and insert it, no issue. None of the magazines are in my front, so I don't have to like do some like weird shimmy when I'm like laying down prone. So that's a huge advantage of the LBE. Another thing is that you're less dependent on other gear. So like I was saying, like on the chest rig, you do kind of need like a backpack for sustainment, but as you can see, because of my butt pouch, you can kind of just carry stuff in there. Now, of course, with everything, there's pros and cons. Some of the biggest disadvantages of the LBE, there is difficulty in where to add comms. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I suppose I can put like pouches like right here, but then that would kind of defeat the purpose of like, you know, a quick detach or like making it fly up in the front. Running comms and running an IFAC is a little bit difficult. Or another con is that, like I said kind of before, this does occupy my waist. The advantage is that it puts the weight on my hips. The disadvantage is that now my hips are occupied. So running a gun belt or running like a heavy backpack, I mean, I dare even say impossible, but I'm sure some of you guys are very creative and you'll like figure out some like janky way to put on a gun belt on this, but alas. It is pretty much like generally some of the disadvantages of the LBE. I just wanted to make this video so you guys can get like an idea where my headspace is at, kind of like where I'm going, and give you guys some of the options. Not everything has to be a plate carrier. I did want to show you guys there are more options for different situations and for people like you. Neither is a bad system. Actually, they're both excellent systems, and they both have had their use, and they've both done well within their own respective kind of use cases. That's about it for the video. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys are watching this at 3 to 7 a.m., go ahead and let me know down in the comments, because I know you guys are up, Steven, watching my videos late at night or early in the morning. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions or if I miss anything, just leave it down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Skadoosh.